Singapore stands among the world's wealthiest economies, consistently earning high rankings for competitiveness. It is renowned for being a major spender per capita, investing in some of the most opulent real estate, and acquiring substantial businesses globally. Singapore sets its own standard, a feat achieved by only a select few nations. It would be unrealistic to suggest that a developing country is on par with Singapore. However, for the sake of entertainment, could the Philippines aspire to reach such heights? Today's video explores the possibility of the Philippines catching up to Singapore, a dream that would undoubtedly inspire millions of Filipinos. Before delving into this dream, it's crucial to assess the current status of the Philippines compared to Singapore. One of the most apparent benchmarks for this comparison is the GDP per capita, a metric that gauges and contrasts the economic performance and living standards of nations. Based on the 2022 data provided by the World Bank, the GDP per capita in the Philippines is $3,498, while Singapore boasts an impressive $82,807. Singapore's living standard significantly outpaces that of the Philippines by a considerable margin. However, it's crucial not to dismiss the idea of reaching Singapore as an unattainable dream. Looking back to the 1960s, the GDP per capita of the Philippines and Singapore was not as disparate. In 1961, for example, the Philippine GDP per capita stood at $278, while Singapore's was $449. In essence, if the Philippines had experienced a growth rate similar to Singapore's from the 1960s until 2022, the gap between the two nations would not be as substantial. Unfortunately, due to distinct historical trajectories, significant changes have occurred. Furthermore, understanding the political and economic structures of both countries is equally essential. Singapore's remarkable success can be attributed to its stable political environment, robust legal framework, and open market economy. These elements have not only attracted substantial foreign investment, but have also facilitated the development of a highly skilled workforce. Conversely, the Philippines has encountered diverse challenges, including political instability, corruption, and less effective governance, all of which have impeded its economic growth. Additionally, the Philippines faces distinct logistical and administrative challenges due to its larger population and geographical area, in contrast to the smaller and more centralized Singapore. These factors contribute to the evident distinction between Singapore and the Philippines. The question arises, can the Philippines achieve a transformative leap and catch up with Singapore? One of the Philippines' aspirations is encapsulated in the Ambition 2040 plan. This long-term vision aims to provide Filipinos with a deeply rooted, comfortable, and secure life by the year 2040. However, bridging the gap between the two nations requires addressing various challenges and implementing strategic initiatives outlined in this ambitious plan. The plan also aims to elevate the Philippines to a high-income country status, where poverty is eradicated. This ambitious initiative is considered a significant step towards uplifting the Philippines and potentially narrowing the gap with Singapore. However, the question remains, what does it truly mean to achieve a high-income status, and is it sufficient to catch up with Singapore? In essence, achieving a high-income status alone may not be adequate. By 2040, projections estimate that the Philippines will have a GDP per capita ranging from $11,000 to $14,000, which still falls considerably short of Singapore's current per capita income. Furthermore, it is anticipated that Singapore's GDP per capita will likely surpass that of the Philippines by that time. However, it's essential to acknowledge that Singapore's growth rate is expected to be lower than that of the Philippines, as Singapore faces constraints related to population and resources. The Philippines possesses both, and there are projections suggesting that the GDP per capita could reach between $17,000 to $20,000 by 2050, potentially allowing the country to provide a luxurious life for its citizens. Nevertheless, these are speculative projections, and the Philippines may either achieve, surpass, or fall short of these expectations. According to a 2021 report by Capital Economics, There is a forecast that by 2050, the Philippines could emerge as the 18th largest economy globally. The projected GDP is anticipated to surpass 4.8 trillion US dollars, a substantial leap from the current 450 billion. The per capita income, as suggested by Capital Economics, could exceed $33,650. Achieving such a status would bring the Philippines closer to Singapore, yet even with 3 decades of growth, it is evident that the Philippines is still far from reaching Singapore's economic level. The report emphasizes that this economic transformation is contingent on the Philippines addressing its infrastructure shortage. Multiple studies support this claim, highlighting that inadequate infrastructure has been a long-standing challenge for the Philippines. To counter this, the government has committed to investing billions and even trillions of dollars over the coming decades to enhance the country's roads, highways, trains, subways, airports, and seaports. Furthermore, it's essential to recognize that to attain Singapore's status, the Philippines must also improve its political landscape. To achieve this, the Philippines must prioritize the strengthening of its democratic institutions and processes. This entails ensuring the conduct of free, fair, and transparent elections, promoting the rule of law, and safeguarding the independence of the judiciary. However, challenges persist, such as widespread vote buying, the influence of wealthy individuals circumventing laws, and ongoing debates about the transparency of the Philippine government's use of confidential funds. Additionally, a critical focus should be on diversification, as the country remains heavily dependent on a few sectors. Improving the financial industry, manufacturing sector, and technology is imperative. Despite these challenges, what sets the Philippines apart and fosters optimism is its potential for growth. Unlike Singapore, the Philippines has ample room for expansion and holds better prospects. With vast land capable of accommodating hundreds of millions of people, strategic positioning in Southeast Asia, and the potential to become a key player in regional trade and commerce, the Philippines boasts unique advantages. Moreover, the country possesses natural resources, such as significant potential oil reserves in the West Philippine Sea, which, if tapped, could significantly boost the Philippine economy. Considering these factors, the question arises, can the Philippines eventually catch up with Singapore? This doesn't necessarily need to happen by 2050 or even in the next century. However, can the Philippines realistically catch up to Singapore over time? The straightforward answer is no, and here's why. There are fundamental differences in their economies. The Philippines and Singapore differ significantly in terms of geographical size, population dynamics, natural resources, and historical trajectories. Singapore's small size and population have facilitated more centralized and efficient governance, resulting in rapid economic growth and development. Its strategic positioning as a global financial hub and port city has been skillfully leveraged to create a robust and diverse economy. Simply put, Singapore's governance is less challenging as it doesn't have to manage thousands of islands like the Philippines. Additionally, Singapore's unparalleled port city status is bolstered by being consistently ranked as the top maritime capital globally, thanks to its economic and infrastructural prowess, as well as its strategic location along the Singapore Strait, through which the majority of ships between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean pass. Furthermore, Singapore's specialization in becoming a financial center is a natural fit, given its prospects. The Philippines, on the other hand, should concentrate on leveraging its natural resources and labor force, especially in sectors like manufacturing. Lastly, a critical factor to consider is climate change. The Philippines remains among the world's most vulnerable places due to climate change. As the world heats up, experts suggest that the Philippines will fare the worst of all. Anyway, we'd love to hear your thoughts.